We're going to look at a way to incorporate lists into games. So this is a simple game. You see these icons are moving. There's 5 of them about every 2 seconds. And also if I click on one, they're going to move again and you'll see the yellow one is now missing. Purple one is missing. Red one is missing. We're down to just 2. And when I click on the last one, it says you win. So we're going to start to code this. There are 5 icons to start out. There's a background. This is the template you'll get. And the you win message is hidden right now. So the first thing I want to do is set up a function to randomize the icons. Similar to the other apps that we've done, we want to send them to a random location. I'm not going to use separate variables for the random location. I don't really need them because I just have to click on these to get them to disappear. So I'm just going to get a for loop to get to all of my icons. So we use the list at the ending of the loop, icon list.length. And then we are going to set a position. Of icon list I as we go through the loop. I am not going to be changing their sizes, so I'm going to get rid of those last 2 parameters as we've done before. And we are going to use a random number for each one. And I am going to use 0 to 300 for the X. Maybe I'm going to do 10 to 300 just to make sure it stays on the board a little better. And then 10 to 400, we'll do 425 for the Ys. So I have this set up. Now if I run this, I should just see the icons going to a random location. But I haven't called my function yet. So let's just call our function once at the beginning. And we'll run it again. And we should see them go to a random location. As I said, just if you watched the last video, my computer is being a little glitchy today, so it's just taking a second to start. So I also want to move those icons every 2 seconds. So in the beginning, I'm going to randomize it, but then also I'm going to get out a time loop. And this is just going to add a little more interest to the game. So every 2 seconds, I'm also going to randomize the icons just so they're not staying completely still. It adds a little bit more difficulty. Now, the next thing I want to do is every single time I click on the icons, I also want them to be randomized. Now, one of the annoying things is if you are doing clicks for multiple items, you do have to do separate event handlers for each one. So just to speed this up, I'm going to write the event handler for icon 1. And I could have just used the drop-down menu too. And in that case, I'm going to also randomize the icons. I'm doing nothing with removing them yet. And then just to speed it up, as I said, I'm going to copy this and paste it 4 more times for the other ones. So this is for icon 2, 3, 4, and 5. Give me some space here just so they don't look too crowded. So we have my function, and these are the different times I need to randomize them. So if I run this now, when I click on them, I can tell, and then every 2 seconds, it's also moving. That one did it double because it was right at the 2 seconds, and then also when I clicked on it. So I can see that that's working. Now, removing them is a little more complicated. I'm going to start to build this with a function. And I'm going to build my function specifically, so we're going to call it remove icon, and I'm going to run it with a parameter called icon. So it'll work. I can call it for icon 1 or icon 2 or so on. So the first thing, we're not actually going to remove. There is, if you look in here, a delete element block somewhere. I don't even know if I can find it yet. Delete element. If I delete it and I wanted to replay this, that means I'd have to go back into design somehow and recreate it. So in effect, if I just set its position off the screen, it's as if it's deleted for now, as long as we do one other thing. So I don't know which icon it is. I'm going to use my parameter here. And we're going to set its position to 400, 500. So that's off the screen in both directions. We're not going to change its size, so we'll get rid of these. So off the screen. Now, if I put it off the screen, but then it's randomized back onto the screen 2 seconds later, that's not helpful either. So I do actually want to remove it from the list. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to search for it in the list, and when we find it, remove it. So the way we do that, we're going to use a for loop. And I'll talk about this a little bit more as we build it. So I'm going through all of my icons. So let's just say I clicked on, let's say icon 3. So I'm going to look through, and if I'm in this event handler, we'll be running this function for icon 3. So in my list, I'm going to search until I find icon 3. And when I find it, I'm going to remove the element at that index. So we need a conditional statement to find it. So as we go through, if the icon, this value that's put here, which will be icon 3 in our example, is equal to icon list I, so the one I'm on, then I'm going to remove the icon at that index. So if we go over to our variables blocks, we haven't used a remove item in a while, so let's just hover. That removes the item at the specified position from the array. So we're going to bring in this block. We're going to remove the item from icon list at position I. So in this case, I'm going to have to copy and paste. Hopefully this works. It won't let me type a lowercase I there. Okay, that worked. So in this case, it's position 0, 1, 2. So when it found this, it would be position 2. It would remove the thing at position 2. So icon 3, it's not out of the app. It's sent to the side, but it is removed from the list. So if we run this now, taking a second, we should see, oh, I didn't call my function yet. Small mistake. I'm okay with that. We're going to run it, and we're actually going to put it in all of them because we're not going to know. I'm not really sure which color is which. Actually, you know what? The red one is icon 1. So why don't I just call the function in this one, and we'll see if we click on the red one, does it work? Remove icons. I actually wanted to name this remove icon because we're just removing one. And I forgot to get something where I can, no, I want to randomize icons. I want to remove icon. Go back to blocks now. And I'm going to type in here icon 1. So when I click on icon 1 is the one I want to remove. So I'm going to try to click on the red one. Yep, and it looks like the red one's removed. So now that I know that that works, I am going to put that function in each of my event handlers and just pick it for the particular thing that I'm clicking on. So when I click on that thing, it's going to get removed from the list. And this is important because there's no reason that I would click them in any particular order. So if we just remove the first thing, I might click on the red one, but the purple one goes away or something like that. So when I run it now, they're all gone. Now at that point, I want it to give that you win message. So thinking about this, I could put that code that will show the you win message in each of the event handlers, but it can also go in this remove icon function. So if I think about it, what tells me that they're all gone? Basically, the list length will be 0. So below this for loop, I'm going to say if the icon list dot length equals 0, everything's been removed from it. It means everything's been clicked on. Then we are going to show element, and I think I named it the win message. Now we could also stop the time loops. Basically my time loop isn't doing anything at that point anyway because there's nothing left in the list to randomize the icons, but that is something you often do. But recognizing that that condition of winning usually happens in the thing that is working. So in this case, like clicking on the icons, that's important. Like, where do I put that condition? We would never put it outside of something, because then it would run when I started the game, right? And wouldn't run at that time I wanted it to. So we'll try it one more time just to make sure it's working. And there the message pops up.